We're on and we're back and better with my
Hello.
beautiful guest, Amris.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for
Appreciate it
having
a
me.
lot.
Thank you for having
And
me.
then Amris, that's the way you say it, right? Amris.
So, it's actually Amorous.
Amris. Like an extra syllable?
Yep, but my dad spelled it wrong on my birth certificate.
Oh, no!
And so, it's so funny. So, he spelled it wrong on my birth certificate, and so it got spelled Amris,
Amris.
but it's Amorous. So, it's so funny because, and like people growing up, first of all, I hated my name growing up because I was never able to get like the rulers or the pencils that said my name on it.
Oh, because it's so unique? Oh.
When you would go places like on vacations and you would get stuff with your name on it, I never could because I hated my name growing up. And then my grandma started painting me stuff with my name on it, and it was
Cool.
yeah, it's cute.
She's like, give me a pencil, I'll do it.
Yeah, and then growing up, people were like, oh, if I ever have a daughter, I'm gonna name her Amris. But then they would spell it Amris, like my name, and I'm like, that's not even how you spell it, but it's okay. So yeah, it's spelled wrong, but my name is Amorous, but it's just
how is it supposed to be spelled?
Amaris.
Oh, okay. And when did your parents break the news to you? Like, we're gonna be honest, your name is a misspell.
My mom told me like growing up like young because I would always everyone would ask me where my name came from or whatever, and I was like, what, like it's Amris, like where did that? She was like, well, actually it's Amorous, but your dad spelled it wrong on your birth certificate. Leave it to the man. And so yeah, but
which one do you like better, or you like both?
well, if I hear my name, I think I'm in trouble because most people just call me Am. And then if they're saying Amorous, I'm like, what'd I do? Because everybody calls me Am. But I prefer Amorous. So, like, when people ask me, I always say Amorous. But
all right, I got it now.
It's spelled Amorous, so I get
said it wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry.
however you want it, tomato, it's fine.
Is it weird if people that you just meet just right away, like, call you Am? Because they hear someone call, like, are you like, you don't know me like that? Or does that not bother you?
You know what? It makes me feel comfortable, to be honest.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So, like, I like when people say Am because I'm like, okay, I like when people feel comfortable, so it makes me feel comfortable because I can be, like, shy and awkward. So the minute somebody says Am, I feel like the ice is broken, and I'm like, okay, let's go.
We're like, just call her Am, and she'll loosen up.
Yeah, just call me Am. It's fine. Otherwise, I feel like I'm like Big Daddy where they wear glasses. You know, to, like, hide when you're shy. That's me all the time. But, yeah, Am. I don't mind it.
For me, because Jasmine, my name's Jasmine, guys, in case you forgot. For me, if people, like, right away when I meet them are like, Jazz, I'm just kind of like, oh. Like, it's kind of weird. I'm like, not that it's bad, but it's just weird, like, Jazz. Like, literally, first time I meet them right away, they're like, Jazz. And I'm like,
you don't know me like
in
that.
In a way, I'm not offended, but it's just strange.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, for me. But see, like, now I see, like, both sides were like, it's cool for you. For me, I'm like, that's weird. Like, you're not really, like.
You don't know me like that.
I'm like, actually, call me Miss Chiquito.
Only people who I know and love can call me Jazz. Yeah, no, Am, I feel comfortable. But sometimes if people, like, say Am, like, there's been times where I'll get, like, and this is how it throws off. Like, I don't have any, like, drama in my life at all. In my head, I'm like, I don't have haters. People say they do. I don't think I do, but there's always something. And so when I've gotten messages in my, like, DMs before, and it's, like, a mean message, but I always know it's someone who knows me because they'll say Am.
Oh, damn.
Like, it'll say Am, and I'm like, oh, okay.
This
is somebody who knows me because they said Am. Yeah. Or, like, during quarantine, like, I would go on live with Angie while she was doing her, like, streams. And, there's always something, like, people have something to say always. It's fine, but it doesn't bother me. But, okay, it bothers me a little bit. But I would always know it's someone who knows me because it would be like a fake Instagram, but they would be like, Am, or, like, even if they're talking about Angie, but I always know it's somebody who, like, knows me, because they'll say Am, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is somebody who knows me, yeah.
Do you think it's the same person or different? It could be the same person.
Who knows? Probably. Yeah, probably. But
do you block them, like those?
No, for what? I'm like, here you go. Like, I actually don't have anyone blocked. Not even exes. Like, I've never blocked a phone number. Yeah, I don't block. Yeah. You don't block it. Yeah. So sometimes I do, like, and then I tell myself, like, why are you letting that person, like, bother you, get the best of you? So then I'll unblock it. Because there's times where I'm just like, what? And I'll just block them.
And it shows that you're bothered. I feel
exactly.
Like
and I'm like, okay, I just let this person who is nobody, like, bother me. And so then I'm like, unblock, like, fine. See my life if you want to, you know?
I don't think I've ever blocked anyone on my own accord. I've had, like, relationships where they made me block people. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And then I was held against my will.
And they're like, block that person.
Yeah, they're like, block that person, block. And then, then I'll be like, okay, block that girl, block that girl.
Really?
I guess that's not.
I feel like that then makes like the other person who's being blocked, especially if it's a boyfriend or girlfriend, being like, oh, they're fighting about me.
Yep.
So like I have that much power that person just has to. So I always like feel too like, if like I wouldn't ever ask my man or ever to block a girl.
Me either.
Because I don't even want that girl to even think we're talking about her. First of all,
yeah, because then it's like, wait a minute.
And second, for her to be like, oh, like she's
jealous of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And if my man did too, I'm like, if you have a problem with some guy, like I don't even want him to think you're bothered by him.
Right, exactly.
Like I want you to look confident, honey.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're gonna act like unbothered. We can fight about it, but that's just how I feel about it.
I feel like even now as I got older, like if I start dating somebody or talking, I don't ask questions about their past or anything. Like I don't want to know. I don't want to know who your ex-girlfriend is. I don't even want to, because I know myself. Like I'm a girl. I'll start like I'll go look and I want to look.
FBI, like private investigator.
Yes, homegirl investigations all day, and I'll look. Like if I want to know, I will look. So that's why I'm like, I don't want to know nothing, because I'll get crazy. I'll be obsessive. So I just would prefer not to know anything, because I don't want that to like take a hold.
It's like the Instagram rabbit hole, because you're like, let me go on her page, and then you're looking at all her comments.
Like you're deep in there, like
and then you're deep, and then you start seeing the old comments from them, and it's like, why are you mad? This was so long ago, but like still it bothers you.
She's called apple pie.
Yeah,
that's what
like
you call her.
Oh, okay. You call her that name, but you don't call me that name. Yeah, for sure. Like I need a better name. Yeah. I won't. I didn't even have, like, with my ex too. I was like, I don't want your password.
So you don't know anything about like his exes or nothing of the sort?
Okay, so for my ex, I did on accident though, not on purpose. I didn't ask questions, but like things like came up, like for example. But I never had passwords to the phone. Nothing. I never looked through the phone.
Okay.
I didn't look through messages. Nothing. Like I don't want to know. Nothing, So I mean, I kind of want to, but I don't want to. Did he have
your password or no?
Maybe. I don't know.
It's almost like, I feel like maybe because the trust was so good, where it's just like, oh, we know. Maybe like you'll put it in and he sees it, but like you don't really go through each other's stuff.
Yeah. I didn't care if he did or didn't. So maybe he did. I don't know. Or maybe I didn't even. Yeah, I don't remember. But like I found out about exes because it was like the stuff was still there. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah. Like,
give us an example.
For example, I didn't notice this, but she, how do I say this? Wrote like this letter to him and his family when he was gone. He was like on tour doing stuff. And so like, and the letter was there, like, and it was like an I love you letter, but it was still up in the house. And I seen it, and I was like, yeah, but he didn't know. He just forgot about it because it's like in a hidden corner. Oh. But I happened to like read it, and I'm like, what is this? Like, and then he took it down. But yeah, and I was like, hold on, who's this? Or she did art, and so like there was stuff with her name on it still up around, and I'd be like, oh, okay.
Wait, you heard just talked about this, or someone talked about something like this, where like if there's stuff or pictures of like their exes in the house and stuff like that. Like, is that okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if it's like...
No, why does it need to be up?
That's something, that's what I was wondering. I was like,
no. Or why do you still have it? Like, throw it away, get rid of it.
And I feel very passionate that if the person I'm with, if you are completely 100% over somebody, and then you're 100% completely committed to a future with me, why is there any photos of her in your phone?
I agree.
In your emails, in your house, anything. Because I feel at the end of the day, there are relationships like I could look back on and be like, okay, I'm over that person, that person, that person. And there's a few people that I have a few little things saved from because I'm like, I would possibly go back with them.
Right.
So there's that there's that percentage where I'm like, I don't want to throw away the memories or get rid of these photos
There's
because
like a special like
in case we get back, I can repost all our old stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, so you like to save then stuff of your exes, all of them?
No, that's what I'm saying. But
Do
all
you
of
have
them,
stuff
I'm
of your
over.
exes? Do you guys have stuff of like your ex and then previous and maybe one before that saved overall on your phone? Not that you're doing anything with
in my
it, but,
phone?
like, just like way back if you scroll back,
I
it's
have
there.
like a few guys.
Yeah, probably.
Some of our photos.
I don't like
But
that
I've been single for so long.
If I'm in a
Same.
relationship,
Well,
I don't like
3
that.
years,
Like,
but-
I'll literally tell him like delete whatever you have.
Oh no, that's what I was saying though. That's what I was saying. In a relationship, I believe that motherfucking phone better be empty.
Clear and clean.
True, I agree. Like if
Yeah.
I'm in a new relationship and I'm like super committed and I definitely see a long time future, there's no reason I have no business having anything to do like with my ex. I shouldn't have those pictures in my phone. I shouldn't have anything like to do with it. For what?
I feel like I'm like, you want to reminisce? Like,
Yeah, what are you
Delete it,
missing?
who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Mhm.
And then my psycho ass is like, okay, because there's apps that that they're like secret. So let's say you have 60 apps.
Uh-huh.
Some of them they'll be like pretend it's a CNN app. And when you
Pretend?
click on it, it's actually a secret vault. And you can
I've never
Tricky.
heard of that.
Yes. You can save
But you know what I do is
photos
like,
and videos in there. So your partner thinks it's a regular like news app.
Oh, I hate it here. They have things like that.
Yes.
I haven't gone to that extent, but there's like an option for like whatever app you have where you won't see it on your phone. But all you do is, but you have it downloaded, but you just type it in your search bar, whatever you want to pull up.
And it's not on the phone?
Like if let's say I grabbed yours, you won't see it, which is
blown.
that's easier. I feel like that's less effort than her way. But it's just like literally you won't see it, but I have to type it in, and then when you do, it'll be there. Only like when you search it, like a hidden.
Yeah, that's been
Like dating apps, but they can hide them.
Yeah.
That's been around for over 10 years. Like 10 years ago, one of my girlfriends was showing me that she was cheating.
No.
And she was like, well, she opened up like a CNN app. I was like, what? And it like transformed into a different app. So please punch in your password. And I was like,
But honestly,
holy
anybody
shit,
who
this is
does that, I
crazy.
feel like it just you already know what's going on. Like I feel like it's like you're incriminating yourself. huh?
Right. Wow. I'm like,
You're like,
I
I
didn't
don't
know
need
about
that.
that one, and I didn't know about the one you just
Amris is like, I'm not a cheater. I'm honest. So, anyways,
Gosh, yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. I never knew that.
I've done it before, but not her way, but my
You
way.
see,
which is
like,
simple.
I feel like I'm just really, really scared at this point to get into like an actual new relationship just because it's like all of these things. The time is just from my last relationship, which was like almost 3 years ago, to like now. I'm like, there's so many things have changed. Like, I'm just scared at this point. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to trust, even though it is hard to trust for sure. That's my
On
problem.
the topic of dating, I'm gonna bring up what Rocky had told me yesterday. That he says that you're celibate and you haven't had sex and you're not having sex.
Rocky thinks I'm crazy because I'm like, I don't just have casual sex, you know. But maybe when I was
get it,
younger,
yeah.
like growing up, I think like was just, I don't know, I didn't care. So it was like, oh, you meet someone, not just like one night stands. I'm talking about like you start dating someone and then you could just like have sex, and then it's like, well, you stop talking 2
feel like
months
we all
later, and then
have
I
that
meet
phase,
so
though.
like
Yeah.
everybody does, and so
Yeah.
and I could say that, but like now at this time, like I won't just. First of all, it took me a long time to even start after my ex to even like give anybody the time of day to
Yeah.
even start talking to somebody or like, you know, actually trying to like be serious in a relationship. But yeah, I just don't, I could go a long time without having sex and I'm okay.
But you're not celibate.
I'm not celibate, like no.
Like you're not like in your head. You're like no.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But I'm just not gonna just like have sex with someone and then never speak to them again, or just like for fun, or like, hey, I'm
over
just
that, huh?
come over. Yeah, like get on a dating. I've never been on a dating site, but get on one and just like meet someone and have sex and that's it. People could do that. Like it's great. I don't
Yeah,
judge it, but I
same.
just can't. Yeah, I just for what at this point. And now I'm getting your energy. I don't even know where you've been or who like, and then that's coming to me, and then it's like, yeah, I but I'm not
agree.
celibate. I'm not against it. I'm not like waiting till I'm married, you know? Like
No.
Yeah.
You're like I'm wearing a chastity belt right now.
Yeah, no.
Nobody's getting in this.
Yeah, no.
I agree though, because when I feel like, I mean, as of kind of the past recent-ish in a way overall, it's just if I'm ever gonna hang out with someone, I feel like I'm past like my when I was kind of wilding out, which I had fun. Like you said, like it was fun. Like that was me wilding out, like, you know, coming to and stuff. But now even if like, or whatever, I'm like, if I see someone or they want to hang out or they want to, I'm like, not really though. I'm like, because honestly, like I don't really feel like just hanging out. I'm not going to go over. I'm not going to spend the night. And I just don't feel like that. I'm like, if you want to like really show me a good time, like you need to like do this A, B, and C. Like take me out, take me to dinner. Take me on a trip.
Yeah, and all of that was kind of hard too, especially with this past year of like quarantine and like, you know, you couldn't really do much. Even if I like, when you wanted to go on a date or something, it's like, well, what do we do? You know, like what do you do? But no, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah. Dating's hard. Mm-hmm. I hate dating. And I'm so awkward and weird when it comes to.
Not. Or is it
people don't, okay, so.
Love-wise, like relation.
When I'm in a relationship, I love being in a relationship, by the way. I don't care to be single. I've been single for a long time, but I don't care to be. I would prefer to be in a relationship. Yeah. But it's just, I don't know. It just hasn't happened yet. You know? So it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. One day it's gonna come. But I feel like I'm very careful just because still I'm I don't know. I'm traumatized from relationship.
Moved on from your last one, like.
So, yeah, and, you know, and I think just that was, like, a really intense breakup, too. So I just needed to, like, have fun. But I don't like being single. Yeah. I prefer to be in a relationship. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I'm in no rush. It's fine.
But you're open to it, at least.
Yeah, I'm definitely open to it. But it's just,
okay, because on your guys' podcast, so Amris has her own, well, not her own, but she's on a podcast,
yeah.
Street Scholars, which you can see theirs on
Mondays.
But it's not live, though, sorry. So
it's not live. Yeah, it airs on Tuesdays. Yeah. We record Mondays, and then it comes out on Tuesdays.
Catch her there, and she has 3 other co-hosts.
Yep.
3 other co-hosts, which are all men.
Yeah, that's real fun and interesting. And Rocky's funny, too, though. He thinks, like, I'm not going to just tell him, like, even if I did have sex, like, hey, I had sex, and like, so he could just, I let him think whatever he wants to. And say, sorry, Rocky, but like, you know.
That's why I brought it up because I feel like they're always like so amorous. They're like, what'd you do? Like, did you have any sex? Did you like date anyone? Like, tell us.
I'm also very, like, like I said, going back to what I said, I had forgot, so I just jumped off here. I lost my train of thought. But what we were talking about is, I'm actually really shy. Especially in a relationship. So I hate dating, like, because I'm awkward. I almost don't know how. Like, I don't know how to be. If I like the person, I get, like, weird. I don't know. Me too. Know? I get very, very shy. And people
get nervous, right? You're like,
but for a long time. Yeah, and I'm like, why? I'm not. Then you see me around my friends, and I'm, like, having a good time. Like, you know, you would never know. But, like, when I'm in a relationship, when I first meet somebody or, like, when I'm dating or I'm kind of, like, unsure, I do get a little, like.
Yeah, and the worst part is, like, you're just like, oh, my God. You're like. At me. I shouldn't have said that. Should I say that? Okay, I don't know.
Or if I do start lashing out, like, you know, I think I'm Mariah Carey at home singing all the time, especially in the shower. But like, I wouldn't do that to someone because I'll get shy. And this person
have to, like, get to a point of comfortability. Do you feel like that, Abe, Mama D? Like, where you,
or are you yourself right away? Like,
yeah, because I relate to Amris. I'm like, I'm super nervous and shy, and like,
I would like to say, I mean, I think because I'm older, I date a lot.
Okay.
A lot. Like, I go on a lot of dates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's like, a lot.
And I'm going on one after this.
And I think because, like, I'm in front of the camera a lot.
You're just used to it.
I always do a lot of networking.
Okay.
Like, I just know how to put on the, hey, how are you? So,
yeah.
And me as a coach as well, you know, for life coaching, I have to create the energy.
Got it.
Of a room to be positive, to uplift. True. So I feel when I'm dating somebody, I'm like, there's sometimes.
It's probably different for you.
Yeah, it's like kind of like.
It's just natural.
It's like, so yeah. So I learned it. So it's like a trained thing for me, I would say.
Okay.
Because I would say that in my 20s, like back then I was really uncomfortable. Like I've been through so many public speaking classes and trainings to get it.
So you know, your communication is there as well.
Yeah, exactly. But back then I remember just being like, no matter what training I went
to. Is it genuine, or you just put on like, oh, I know how to handle this? Like,
no, it's just genuine. Like I just know how. I just know how to, like, okay.
It's just natural for you.
If I am uncomfortable, because I mean I am human and I could be nervous too, and I'll be like, okay, wait. I'm not being authentic.
Human,
like, what is? I am. Actually, I'm the bionic woman. In case you didn't know.
Yeah.
Don't tell nobody, you guys. Okay, because I'm saying low pro. I ain't trying to have the government conspiracy,
Right.
moving me or anything
Okay.
like that.
Shut you down.
Right, exactly. So no, yeah. So I get to be like, okay, I'm uncomfortable because being uncomfortable isn't me being authentic.
Got it.
So it's like, okay, how can I like what am I judging about myself? What am I in fear of? So
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
a good way to think
so
of it.
I'll
That
be
is
like,
true.
I'll be like, what am I judging? I'm thinking that he's thinking.
Yeah, I think maybe that's where we're coming.
I'm
That's how I
I'm
feel
too
now when
quiet.
it puts it that way.
I'm boring. Or I have nothing to say. Now I'm really like, no, I really like nothing to say.
Yeah.
So then I'll just be like, okay, like, Deanne, like, calm down. Like that. Like, let's say, like, okay, pretend this is Angie. Like, what would I say Angie right now about her day?
That's a good. I'm gonna start thinking of that because I got even called out. Like you,
What'd they say?
like you act all like shy and not yourself like with me, but around your friends you are like laughing and having fun. Like I don't even know that side of you, and that's you. And I'm like, fuck, you're right. That's true because I do. And when I'm around him, I would be, I'm just kind of like.
Did you tell him though that you're like I just feel shy around you like until I get comfortable? Did you tell him that or no?
Yeah, but
that.
but it's like
How long though does it take you to get comfortable?
like I'm
always
still
different,
I'm
huh?
okay. It's because here's the thing. It's like I'm comfortable, but I still feel me being like, what am I supposed to do if we're like hanging? Like I just
Like,
I'm gonna
what
put
if
on
you
a
need-
show.
like,
Like,
what
I don't
if you need to
understand.
fart?
Yeah. Oh,
Honestly.
okay. I've never farted in front of a guy. On purpose.
On purpose.
Like
You're so
in my
attorney, you're like-
sleep. In my sleep, maybe you like, but that doesn't count. But
You're like, I wasn't awake for it. So he's
I
lying.
was. I
You
have
weren't
the
driving the boat.
I have the funny. I can't even say it because I'm too embarrassed to say the story. But I actually have never I've never farted. Yeah, but everybody farts, and I think farts are hilarious. Like I will die laughing if you were to fart now. Like I think farts are so funny. I laugh at the word. Like I'm like a child.
fart.
I think farts are hilarious, but I don't know. I just don't fart. I don't think like not even Angie's probably ever heard me fart.
I was gonna ask, have your friends heard
No,
it?
my.
Lift the ass cheeks.
Lift the
My
ass
old
cheeks.
room, I had a roommate once when I lived in Vegas, and she told me because she would like fart all the time, and she'd be like, "Are you even human? Like I've never heard you fart before." And I'm like, "I'm just not gonna fart," but I think they're hilarious. Actually, I told somebody this one time. My ex-boyfriend, like from a long time ago, I was with his family. We were watching a movie, and it was a farting scene happened, and I was the only one who laughed at the fart. And I was like, and I went home and told my family, and I was like, dude, they don't laugh at farts. Like, should I be? That's like weird. Should I be alarmed? Rocky thinks I'm weird for thinking
You're
that.
like, I need help there.
Yeah, I was like, they don't laugh at farts. It's weird. But yeah, I've actually never. Have you farted in front of a guy?
No, I mean relationship. Yes, I've been
Oh,
in
okay.
two relationships, so I have once I got comfortable, but otherwise, no. So I used to do this thing where, like, let's say we're in bed going to sleep, and then like, so it's kind of like a little. I don't know if you heard of this, like a trick tip or something, where if you just kind of like lift one of your cheeks, it's silent. It's not gonna stop the smell.
Oh wait, what? Tell me.
So like,
It's not gonna stop the
you
smell.
don't have to be naked. Like it's just like, let's say you're like literally like, you just kind of like pick up your cheek because what makes the noise is because your cheeks are together. So it like,
Oh, so if you lift your cheek up,
it's just like
no one
air
will
like
hear.
It's like,
That's what I said. I do that in class all the time.
ew. Okay, I definitely wouldn't fart in school. I know that.
Okay, so but it still smells.
But that's if you have smelly farts. But otherwise, no. Unless you're under the blankets, then it's just like under there.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's a good trick. I never knew that. That's so funny. Yeah.
But naturally, I am a very gassy person.
So you're okay. I fart. You
So
fart.
in my relationships, I'm like, I haven't got to hold down and impress. I'm like, oh, no, like,
At least you're pretty. So it's like,
yeah, they'll literally be like, whoa, what's the, like, what's that? Like, what was that? Like, they'll literally
like, how did that even come out of you?
I was like, they're like, what? I'm like, fart. And they're like, or if it's like, if I'm sitting on the bed or something and I fart, like, you won't hear it because you're sitting, but
Yeah.
you feel like it on the bed. And they're like, I just felt you
So
fart
your
the
boyfriend,
vibration.
so he calls you out, your boyfriend at this point, your farts.
Yeah, so they're just like,
Oh my God, that's so funny.
It's embarrassing though.
It
Like
is.
if it's somebody new.
oh,
No, mind you, like I have gas.
She doesn't even fart with
okay?
people she knows, so she
So
knows.
like so many times, like
Who,
how
she
big-
does it?
You, no,
Oh, yeah.
you don't. So she knows where you're coming from.
So
Amity.
so many times, like a lot of times, like I'll have gas, and we'll be talking, I'll laugh, and it'll be like a big long fart, and I'm just like in the middle of like a conversation, I'm like, and then my friend, and she was doing that, and I just keep, I'm like, if I pretend I didn't hear it, maybe he'll act, and we're both staring at each other like. So then we went to the market, and I'm trying to finish it and act like I'm not bothered, but I'm so like inside. I'm like, that was the loudest fart ever.
You should just be like, oh my god, haha, laugh at yourself. No, like play it on.
No, like I legit like, oh, that was so loud, and then we're staring at each other in the middle of a conversation, and I'm just like.
Or you could be like, any chance you have a fart fetish?
Yeah, like I'm dying.
Oh, that would be funny. You have a fart fetish?
You have a fart fetish?
Just remember where that came from.
I would.
I'm gonna let my ass cheek up and go.
I've been like told that my ex told me that I farted in my sleep before, so like I was like, well, that doesn't count because I was asleep.
And you don't remember it, so you.
There's no proof.
Yeah, but I don't know why. I think farts are hilarious, but I would be embarrassed to fart in front of someone. Okay, I have to tell the story because it's like right here.
I know.
So one time, this was like years ago. Okay. One of my exes. So we were watching a movie with him and his brother, right? And I fell asleep on so I always fall asleep. That's another story, but I fall asleep watching any movie. But anyways, we were laying on the couch and I fell asleep. Mm-hmm. And what were we watching? Walking Dead, I think, or something. And I knew this, like my stomach was already, I ate too many almonds. And my stomach, like my body doesn't really like almonds too much, like raw almonds, like it like kind of messes it up, you know? Yeah. And I felt my stomach being a little like kind of gassy, but I'm like, whatever. Anyways, I had the nerve to fall asleep and I farted in my sleep.
In front of your ex and his brother.
Listen. The story, I can't believe I'm telling this story. But you guys were telling your fart story, so I had to just be, I had to share. So I farted. I can't believe I just said that. In my sleep, and it woke me up. But I woke.
Oh, shit.
So listen. I'm asleep like this, and it woke me up, but it was like the Undertaker. Like, I just woke straight up. Like, I just woke straight up.
Oh, my God.
And my ex is such a jerk that, I mean, you know, if it was me the other way around, I would have took the blame. Like, he was like, and his brother looked, they were just dying laughing at me, and I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened to me. I wanted to get away and just never show my face again. I wanted to die, but I was laughing, and then they called me the Undertaker because of how I got up, so they just started calling me the Undertaker because I woke literally straight up. So not only that, I just like got up so quick, and I was like,
guilty.
Well, yeah, it was. He was like this, pointed straight at me, and I was like, "Wow!" Didn't even take the blame.
Like, bring the cameras back. That
yep. Me. And then my nickname was the Undertaker.
Wait, but you knew it was a fart. Like when you woke up, you're like, "Oh, I farted," or like you were just kind of figuring out like.
Well, I was asleep, but like, I think my body. I think I woke up knowing like, "Oh shit, did that just happen?" Wait, what? And like, where was I? Like, I didn't know. It all happened so fast. Oh, I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh, this is terrible. Yeah. And they were just dying laughing at me. And I was like, it doesn't count. I was asleep.
You know what? This never leaves this podcast. Everyone listening.
Live. You guys
what happens on the podcast, you know what? It stays on the
now
podcast.
Now that I'm thinking about it, farting's funny when it's done like in the most like embarrassing time and moment. And you're with your girlfriend, even one of them farts.
I have a worse story. No, like my most embarrassing moment that's ever happened to me.
That was my most embarrassing.
Oh, you gotta tell your story.
And I've only shared this once before. My mom knows it. And I hate to like. It's like it brings me back to that. It brings me back to that place every time.
Like I could just I see you and I could see you just being like, and it could actually be how fucking funny that had to be.
So I was just dating, I guess, hanging out, whatever, with someone at the time, and we had we just had kiss and stuff. We never done anything else sexual, even remotely, just kiss. So we go on a trip to Hawaii, and we're in the room. It's like there's candles lit, and he's like, "Let me give you a massage."
Amris, Imagine like you're trying to be sexy, lay naked, getting a massage. And you're on your stomach.
Right? You know how, I'm sure you know that people will sit on you like this, like on top of your butt, like, okay, massage.
So what happened?
It's probably the worst moment of my life.
That's one of the worst.
And then super quiet,
Yeah,
and you're
no, like,
only you
it's
two.
super quiet, massaging, and then he said, like, he tries to crack, like, he says something funny where he cracks a joke.
So you laugh, and you go boom.
And it was like, I farted.
You're lying.
I couldn't even make the noise. It was like a loud one. He didn't
Like
fart.
a-
I was like, and he literally fell to the side of me on the bed, and he's like laughing so hard, no noise is coming out. I was like laughing, like just because I'm like, okay, I was laughing.
Like it was a loud one.
But I didn't really know what to do. I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna laugh. I wanted to like run and never come back and hide and just like, and then
So you farted while he was getting your massage naked. Just
And a loud one, like a loud
not
big
like too
fart.
loud, but like it's like a, you know, it's a good one.
Right.
And then too, as soon as he can catch his breath, he's like, I'll never forget this moment. He says that, and I'm like, oh my god, like, but that made it even worse. And
So
then,
did you guys see each other after that?
Yeah, no, well, we were in Hawaii, so we're there for a week. Like, there's no separating. That made it worse. Like, we were like, oh, I'm going home now.
Yeah, I couldn't ever, like, you couldn't just, like, never see him again.
Because after the fact, too, he was like, oh, it's okay. He's like, let's get back to where we were. I'm like, no.
I can't even feel
No.
sexy at this point.
I literally said, no, I'm going to sleep. I turned over.
You're lying. You were so embarrassed.
I was like, no, I'm going to sleep. And I just went to sleep.
Shut up.
No, pretend it's a bad nightmare and wake up in the morning, pretend it didn't
And
happen.
I even felt, literally the rest of the trip, I felt awkward just thinking about it. I'm like, that fart. all throughout the day, throughout everything, I'm like, that really
You couldn't
happened.
think about anything.
I couldn't. And I felt always awkward, like, don't kiss me. Like, that happened.
Yeah, like I farted while you were on my back giving me a massage. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, that's too good. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I like can't. I never actually didn't. I don't.
Mine takes the cake, huh?
Yeah, yours. I mean, mine. I was the Undertaker. I was just asleep while we were watching something, and I just like woke myself. It woke me up, which kind of probably says something about it. Like woke me up. Like yours is pretty funny. Yeah. It was like, what the, but it had to be in front of his brother too. I was like, bro, like I can't believe this just happened. But your story definitely takes the cake. That's hilarious.
That out. Bringing it up again, I was.
That's a great.
Horrible.
That's actually a great story.
You're like, can I share that with other people?
Oh, well, because next to that, the other funniest story is Ariel, when she on her podcast talked about the time when they were doing a private party, and this guy, I literally, that story made my like whole.
I think Bunny was there too. I've heard this story a lot.
I was crying because she said the guy, she was like shaking her ass, and he was just she was spreading her ass cheeks out, and so she just like farted, but basically in his face while she was there. And she said Buddy just looked at her like.
I remember. And then Buddy said
And the guys just the guys just was like, all right, like bye, like yeah.
And she said that Ariel wasn't even embarrassed. She's like, I don't give a fuck. I'll fart again.
That story was so great. I was dying. Yeah, she didn't give a fuck. That's so funny.
It makes it worse though, like when it's someone that you like and you're like, you know, I feel like dancing. All right, fuck it, it happened. Who cares? But like me, I was like,
but someone that you like, yeah,
humiliated.
yeah.
Oh, that's a good word. Humiliated.
I was literally like, and there's no one to blame but myself. Jasmine, why did you eat that cauliflower at dinner? Why?
I'm careful for sure on the things that I eat now. Like if I'm sleeping,
You
like
never know,
you just don't. Yeah, the worst is like when your
You
stomach
have
hurts
to.
and you have to use like the restroom. It's like, what do you do?
Have you gone to like, let's say you have like a diarrhea on like at the guy you first started seeing his house, you have diarrhea. Will you go home or will you or just
put
use
your
the
mics
bathroom?
closer, guys.
Or just use the bathroom?
No, like I will
just hold
probably make myself like go to the hospital for how much I will hold that before like because I would be like
That's extreme.
it would
I like
because
that.
it would smell like that's gross like and then you can never look at me the same. Like I would, if I smell stuff, like I'm like, dude, I can never look at you. I don't care, but it would just be, it would be. I feel I wouldn't be comfortable yet. But like if I really had to, I gotta take a shower.
Oh, you're like, randomly.
And I'm in the shower.
In the middle of my day.
Yeah, in the middle.
I'll be right back.
I need to take my third shower of the day. Like,
Your hair is still wet from that other one. They're like, okay.
I missed a spot. Like,
I have this skin condition where if I don't shower, I'll die.
yeah, like, so I have to shower probably about 5 times a day. So
No, it's really true because I have a really sensitive stomach. So anytime I know I have a date, I have to, I 24 hours in advance, I have to be aware, no dairy, no cauliflower, things I know that are going to make me no beans, nothing like, I'm so aware, I can't eat that today and I can't eat that, I have a date tonight. So, and then when I'm dating someone, even worse, because now you're spending the night all the time. So now I'm like, I could eat like a piece of lettuce and some chicken. Like
I'm trying to tell you, like,
can't
it's
put sauce on it, nothing because
work.
And
first stage dating is just like, it's stressful and it's like for our own selves in our heads.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fart. Oh my God, take a shit. I gotta go home. Like,
yeah,
everything.
I'm sorry I gotta go home early today. Like,
and if you sleep over and it's like beginning, you don't have a toothbrush, you're like, oh my God.
And then
I don't wanna, brush my teeth.
How about when they're cut? Well, I've had gas before. And I'd be like, shit, someone want to come over. And I'm like, shit, I have gas. Fuck, my stomach hurts, but I want to see the person. They're like, I'm coming over. And I'm like, okay, come. And I'm like, ow. So I'm taking as many Tums as I'm like eating 4 or 5 Tums before he gets here.
She'll hold it till she gets, they'll have to call 911.
I will get put myself because
I feel like if it gets so bloated,
what do you
it
do?
comes out by itself.
Yeah, you have to like, you would have to go. Luckily, like I haven't had a situation like that where I'm just like, bro, you're in the next room right there, and I have to go. Like, God has been working in my favor. But if that day, I'm telling you, like, yeah, no.
I remember my mom had a friend that she was at like a guy's house on like one of these type of things, and that like she had like diarrhea or she took like or whatever, and then when she flushed, the toilet flooded, and she tried to flush, it overflowed, so the whole bathroom floor was wet, soaking of her diarrhea.
You're lying.
Not her, but her friend. Yeah.
Shut up! And what did she do?
I don't remember.
I
It was
would.
her friend Elizabeth.
I
I
would
think.
die. I would die.
I think I would just bust open the door.
She's like,
run out, and never come
bring
back.
it. Like possum.
She's like, oh my God, I was going.
I would come out and play dumb. Like, did you use the restroom before I went in there?
I think I
Because
would do the
I
same
just
thing,
flushed
yeah.
the toilet and look what came
Yeah.
up. Like, it's so
I
weird.
would do the same.
I was like, nope, that was not me. I don't care if you saw me do it. It wasn't me. Like,
Your eyes are deceiving you.
dude.
You're gonna trust your eyes or me?
Yeah, I would. I don't. Oh my God, I'm feared. I fear that. I mean, you guys, girls poop. Okay, it's normal. It's a normal thing. I hate when guys are like, girls don't poop. Like, and I'll be like, yeah, we don't. But like, really, I mean, we do.
But you know who really does not poop? My dad. Like I'm saying, like he'll never ever like you'll never know when he is or when it. He's like you. He'll never. I've never in my life heard him fart once.
No, yeah, you
Really?
pick up for 26 years. Like we're together off and on for 12.
Yeah.
And then now we're best friends. So I see him all the time, and he'll spend
And
the
still
night.
doesn't fart in front of you.
Still, no, he'll never ever. He will want to almost fist fight me if I fart in front of him.
Or
So
burp.
I'll on purpose say fart and then run in the other room really fast. And I'll be like, ha ha.
Yeah, you did that. Yeah,
And he's like, that's so fucking gross.
He's
I'm
like,
not a lady.
so
it,
mad.
hurts his soul.
Like he
he's
really
like,
gets genuinely
even a
mad.
burp.
He's like, that's just disgusting. Why are you doing that around me? And I'm like, it had to come out, bro. Calm down.
I get mad at smelly farts.
yeah.
Like if I have to like there's something wrong in my brain though because I can't even like if
you can't stop it from
yes
smelling.
but I'll just get mad if I smell a smelly fart. Like even if I were to like fart and it smelled, I'd be pissed at myself. Like do you have some dignity? Like what? How did that even? If I smell a bad smell, I just get I get mad. Like I can't believe you like that. It smells like I would be mad. But I also can't listen to people like chew.
Oh yeah.
Or when people are eating and they make noises, I like turn the TV on, the music, something, because I can't hear it.
So every time you eat, you're completely dead silent.
No, I'm not probably. That's why I said there's something wrong in
Oh,
my
I thought
brain.
you-
I'm not
oh,
perfect.
okay,
Like
okay.
I make noise, I'm sure, when I eat, but I just can't listen to it. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
me, if I'm in a room, Angie, she loves to make noise when she eats. Like every bite, she's like,
Oh, I'm the same way. Like, oh, this is so good.
and I like you're having sex with your food, basically. And I'm just like,
Always.
you make so much noise when you eat. Like I die. Like I notice it.
You
Like
pop the AirPods in. You're like listening to a song.
I
you're like,
can't. Yeah. Or listening to people when they're opening up chips or like their stuff, just listening to them opening it up and like making the noise and then pulling the chip out and the
So
crunch.
I'm
and
guessing
listening.
you don't like the YouTube ASMRs.
Yeah, everybody says that. Yeah, I can't
I
because
don't
I'm
like them either.
like, well, I don't want to listen to the. No, it drives me crazy. Yeah, I can't, and it's weird.
Can I switch up the topic real quick?
Yeah, of course.
I want to go back to the podcast you're on with Street Scholars. So I know you were on in the beginning. I didn't know that, but you were on a couple seasons ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then for whatever reason you weren't on anymore. And then how did it feel like when you stopped being on it?
So I was on it the first time, and then quarantine happened. Like we had to go into quarantine. And granted, I hate the whole mask thing. I am not like, I'm not getting that vaccine.
Same.
I'm not none of that shit. But I was just wanted to be respectful. I have a roommate. I see my family. I wanted to see my family. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to do the show and come to record. So until everything's kind of like chill and cool, and then I got booted. I didn't really get booted. I just didn't come on, and then they brought Bernadette on.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then Rocky asked me, I don't really know what happened. I don't ask questions. But then Rocky asked me, hey, can you come be a co-host for a show? And I was like, all right, hold on.
I know.
I was a little scared. I was like, okay, hold on. This is going to be interesting. Because I don't want to, like, fight and argue and be,
Were you still keeping up with their episodes after you were off or no?
No. Only because I would try to watch some of them, but I just would give me, like, anxiety, to be honest. Because I'd be like, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. So
was G-Money on when you were first on the first?
No.
Was it only you,
he's
Rocky,
brand new.
and Novel only?
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Well, it was Sammy Joe as well.
Sammy Joe.
Yeah.
They're like season 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they've had different, and then finally I came on and I was like, okay, let me see what it's like again. I'm gonna see what it's like. We'll see what we can do. And then it was just felt comfortable again. It felt cool, and I liked the vibe. It was, I thought that it was going to be a lot different than it actually was. And then I told Rocky, I'm like, I actually like it. Like everything's cool and it's like chill,
Yeah.
I think everybody has kind of grown too. Because they
Definitely.
give more opportunity for people to talk, and like especially when a guest is on, it's like not about
Them.
It's actually about
which
the
is funny
guest.
because I'm like, if that's giving opportunity, I don't even know what they looked like before.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And that was what I was scared of because we would have guests come on and then it wouldn't even be about the guests sometimes. So it'd be like, come on, let them talk. Like, but it definitely everybody has grown, which is awesome, and I feel like it shows, and that's what I liked. Because I'm like, okay, and obviously we all have room to grow, and there's so much potential there, But yeah, I enjoy it right now. It's good.
How long have you been back with them?
I think only like 5 episodes.
Yeah, recent.
Yeah, so it's super, super recent. Yeah, it's really recent.
And Rocky, that's how originally, right? You guys he said you guys go way back kind of.
So I met Rocky back in the day with Steph and Tone. So, like, when we would go out and stuff all the time, that's how I met Rocky. So, I met Rocky through them.
Okay.
He would always, would have dance battles with everybody, And so, like, that's how we met. We would all just have fun and, like, dance, and it was good time. So, yeah, I've known him for a while. Probably.
Were you pop locking with him?
Yeah, dancing. We were doing all his little footwork, his dance moves. It was funny, too, because back then he was... I didn't know him. I was just like, oh, look at these little cholos dancing, getting down on the dance floor. Like, him and his friend. Yeah.
Cute little cholo.
Yeah, because he would be we'd be at the club, he'd be dancing too, but it was funny to
Yeah.
look at weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah, he'd be dancing.
And I don't even see him as a cholo, which I know, like, that's like...
Right, but if you just see him, you would think that if you don't know him, I don't think he is either. But like, when I didn't know him, and I would just see him out, and that's what I would think. Like, yeah.
Like those little gangster dude.
Yeah, look
over
at the
there.
little gangster dudes right there.
Ooh, this little fool.
Look at this fool.
Yeah, so I've known him for, I think it's been, I don't know, more like 10 years plus, more than 10 years, yeah. Maybe 10 years, I don't know.
I saw 2 of your guys' last episodes when me and Mama D came, and I noticed, like, I feel like they don't really let you get, like, what you're trying to fully say in. Like, they'll just, like, make a joke kind of or something.
They do make jokes.
Yeah, and they're, like, dismiss, and they're just kind of go, okay, now back to what we have to say.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about, like, that part? Or
I've grown to have patience Before I didn't have any patience, you know,
Okay.
with anything in my life. Like
Yeah.
when even, especially in relationships or whatever, like you tell me one thing and I'm just like, "Bleh," like I will let you have it. And I don't like, so now I'm just like, it's fine. All right. It's not fine. It's not okay.
Correct.
But I'll just, I don't want to like talk over again, because then it just becomes a mess. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I'll take the step back and just not make it messy.
Because I feel like they're already talking over each other.
And then imagine me coming to, I have a loud voice too, and then it becomes too much. So I'm just like, I'm just going to just be like, all right, like, let them talk. And then once they shut up, then I come in. You know, it's fine. But I think that's just, they're growing.
Yeah.
They're getting it.
Well, we all are. I feel like
Yeah,
everyone grows
everybody.
with their podcasts and stuff. But I did tell Rocky she needs you to be in the middle. Rocky, you sit on the side.
Yes.
She needs a middle seat.
Like,
Okay,
seriously, we need to see your pretty face.
And to be honest, I hate that angle. Every time I'm just like, dude, I mean, it's the worst angle.
I was
That
telling
side or the
Rocky on
angle?
mine, I'm like, it should be first come, first serve. So whoever grabs their seat
that's
first,
good.
they get that seat. So
Yes.
if you want a
They
middle
got
seat,
that angle just makes me look chubby every time. It's not a flattering or forgiving angle.
Or maybe even after the fact, if they don't do it that way, like just switch it up where everyone gets their time. Or one episode at least gets to sit in the middle. Like switch it up every time.
Yeah. We need to figure that out, boys. You guys are listening, I'm sure. So,
oh no, I had a conversation on mine yesterday with Rocky about that, and
You
Rocky,
did?
and I was like, okay, Rocky, I'm like, it's your podcast. He's like,
Right.
you can keep your seat, but everyone else, there should be a rotation
Yeah.
where everybody moves. I said, or
That's the most fair.
a first come, first serve.
and because I'm sitting like this, but then I'm like this, but it's like hard for me to just be like sit up straight. So then it's just like the poncho's all out, and then
Yeah.
like I just don't.
You're like a fool. You're like.
I hate. Yes, that's how I feel. I hate that angle. And then you don't even. I don't have a face. You just see my hair the whole time.
That's what I said too. Yeah, where it's like it needs to be like.
Yeah,
Open.
we'll figure it out.
And well, that's why we changed your seat up on Monday. Remember, we brought you out
we
a little
turned it
bit
in
more.
a little bit. Yeah.
Opened up.
Yeah.
Oh, he did say that. He said he goes, or maybe he goes, we should have it.
good.
Whoever brings a guest in gets to choose their seat as well.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
She's like, never mind. She's like, I'll sit in the corner.
She's like, yeah. So I'm just gonna get used to that.
I guess I'll start doing.
She's
more.
like, can I sit in the big blue seat? Because
Yeah,
they get a whole
more
camera
kind
by themselves right
right.
here.
That's true. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Well, I guess we'll figure that out.
She's like,
well, I
Like,
guess
Mama
we'll
D, your
figure
recommendations were not so
that
bueno.
out.
She's like,
but yeah, but there should be, there should be some way of figuring it out. You
Yeah.
know?
I do want to compliment you and say that when I have saw the 2 episodes, that you do have a lot to say, and I think you have really good, deep, meaningful conversation. Like it's not just like you really have good, amazing things to say. So I want to.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think before coming on here, or when I first started show Rocky, because we would have like deep conversations, and he would be like, "Okay, you need to come on the podcast." But when I first did it, he started off by saying, "You're gonna hate this girl who's gonna come on the show, right?" Anytime you start something off like you're gonna hate him, already you're creating that thing like I'm a hater. True,
Yeah.
put her on. I'm a hater. Like great, like because you implanted that in my head, so
Yeah.
now I'm supposed to hate her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so when I went on it, of course, in the very beginning, it was just like, and it was weird for me too. It was something that I wasn't used to. I'm shy, and I'm not. Sometimes, speaking, and I know what I want to say, but sometimes if I do get nervous, I'm just like, I can't. Today, Junior, like spit it out. And sometimes I can't. But in the beginning,
Like when you first.
and yes, when I first started, and most of the viewers were girls, so they hated me. Rocky would say, he'd be like, "Oh my
Why?
god,
What the hell?
she's so annoying. She thinks she knows everything." Because I would speak.
How?
And at this point, they were figuring it out, so we would have topics about like mental illness and things like that. And I mean, I know a lot of things, so
Like,
me talking.
I'm sorry, I'm the only intelligent one out of the group.
It's called street scholars. Y'all be the street, I'll be the scholar. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm not like that.
literally.
But and so
That's
they,
true.
yeah. And so when I
I'm
would
the
talk,
scholar,
they
the
would
rest
just
of
be
them are
like,
the
"Gosh,
streets."
she's annoying." So then that was just in the beginning, and then but then when I left, then everyone was like, he was like, "Everyone misses you. Like they want you back on," because then they realized, like, wait a minute. So it was really cool that when I was coming back, like I did get a lot of people like, "I'm so happy you're back on." I was only watching because of you, but now I'm like happy that you're on. Like you bring like a cool energy. Like I feel like that some people do say, like, they just need to let you talk more. But it's not their fault either. It's me, too, because I'm not, like, being aggressive with trying to, you know, or I'm just, like, chilling. Because G-Money does do a good job with, like, keeping it going, you know?
Okay.
Of like the show, like the questions and stuff, the conversations.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm even like, oh, he's doing good. Like I'm listening, and I have to like check myself out and be like, okay, well, you know, open your mouth.
And I'm sure it's hard because for me, I started with my best friend was also with me a co-host. Mm-hmm. So I started with her, which I loved, but then also we ended up separating because I don't think she was really into it too much. Like she was just like, okay, coming to come. So then that stopped. But now I do it by myself. So I couldn't imagine though because you do it with like a whole overall 4 people, right?
It is actually a lot. People? Well, I don't know. It's 3, 5, 4, and so it's kind of hard 5. To keep. Yeah, because it'll be like myself, Rocky, G-Money, Novel when he comes, and Lazy, Untouchable. So like, and we kind of all have to switch off, you know. And so I think we do have to just come up with a more strategic way of how we do things. And so we had that talk and we were like, okay, we need to have like a meeting before the show just so we can know, like plan it out a little better instead of us just coming and then just being like, who's going to say this conversation? Who's going to talk?
You're just pre-recorded and then they'll be like, okay, you talk about this.
Yeah. So we just have to do a better job with being a little bit more organized before coming on. So we know what to ask, who's going to talk about what. And so that it would flow a little bit better. Yeah. Instead of us just being like, all right, let's just wing it, you know, because people see it too. They're like, you guys need better questions. They have said, and it's true. We need to do. There's opportunity everywhere, but so far I think it's growing, and I think it's good. It's definitely gotten a lot better. So, I love it. It's good.
When my mom has had, she's her own host by herself, but she's had like sometimes she wants like 4 guests at the time. And so when we can set it up and when they do, it's just very hard because the more quiet people naturally kind of just get pushed to the back or like they never really get their word in.
The quiet people won't say a word because the dominant people,
they take over
the whole conversation.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there and you're just like, or if you have too many dominant people.
Yeah, then everyone's talking at the same time and they won't, like, they won't let it, they won't let go.
Bring it down.
Especially with like us on Street Scholars, like we all have pretty strong personalities and we all talk a lot and we all don't know when to shut up,
and
you
then
know?
It's everyone talking at the same time.
Yeah. So like, that's why I've learned to just like take be the person to just like just chill or just let them speak or just because so that it doesn't become this like shit show, you know, where we're all like, because it could get like that easy too. But
you know what? I think that's good feedback. Because the question should never be why does somebody leave. The question in Rocky's head should be why do I keep losing co-host? Yeah. Right? Like what's going on within the group that you keep running through people so fast? You know, like maybe, like, you know, Novel's quiet. Why is he quiet? Because they don't let him talk. Yeah. You're quiet because they don't let you talk. But when Bernadette came on, Bernadette had to like alpha everyone and be a pit bull in order to even get heard. So now when she even raises her voice, the men are like, hear me speak. And now the whole room's really loud as opposed to, oh, she's speaking, let me be quiet and listen.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. It's like where they just need to listen instead of just maybe.
Which I feel I do no, that's 100% true. But I feel that they have gotten a lot better at that.
Oh yeah.
Like so and I feel like they're starting now they let people talk and they have definitely got better at that. That's why I even felt comfortable like the first show and the second one where I was like, okay, I could come back because I feel like it's gonna work. And I feel like everybody, you know, nobody is talking over as much and nobody's like fighting and nobody is doing this. So I feel like it's getting and we're like finally like getting in a good place where that is happening.
That's good.
Yeah. So it just takes time.
But your guys' podcast is amazing. The Street Scholars podcast is amazing. Everyone, like I said, Street Scholars, look them up. They're dope.
It's great.
But because she's on the podcast, I'm not even throwing shade or anything. I just wanted to know, like how you feel, what I've seen, and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, it's good too, and I think they know. That's what I'm saying. So they've definitely grown. Oh, you did yesterday on the show. You guys were saying, And what did he say?
What was he saying about everything?
I'll go watch.
We were mainly talking about like the seating, co-host. I'm the worst person to ask.
I know, Mama D's like not even listening while he's talking. But yeah, I think overall it was good. But I also love that we're coming out. We're not gonna miss. I mean, if we can, every Monday because we want to support your guys' podcast.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, no, and I think that's kind of cool too that everybody is that you guys had Rocky on it, and then like have you guys been on the show on Street Scholars?
No, but I have had when I had my co-host, my best friend. We had Novel and Rocky on.
Okay.
So it was like actually it was very well. It ended up kind of them being not against, but like kind of like tuning into my co-host because it ended up turning into like, and this is her. So she believes she's like, I'll only date a guy who is already successful and has money. And that's just her preference. She's like, I don't want to build up someone from the bottom. Like, that's kind of weird. And then they were just kind of going in on her about like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And like, and then Novel was like, well, once your looks go away, blah, blah, blah. But like, but it was like, but I'm saying it turned into like I was kind of just
a debate. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, she's not wrong.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. To each their own. Like, everyone can have a preference. Like, they could prefer this. They could prefer that.
And maybe they're being insecure. Like, yeah.
And then in that podcast, I think I tried to say something, and then Novel was like, so you're putting words in my mouth? I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, are you speaking for me?
Oh,
like,
so it
But it's like, that's how they are. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like, what are you talking? I'm like, no, I'm just talking for myself. Like, it's so, like, aggressive and defensive.
Well,
I'm like, no, it's a conversation. Like, it's okay.
You can have a conversation.
I'm not trying to fight you.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing that I like about it now is because we have guests, so it's not about like us having debates and conversations because that's when it goes south. When it's just like when it's just a table talk, right? And we're talking about our own views and own. Then that's when it becomes like a shit show, and because nobody knows how to agree to disagree, and everybody has their strong opinions and all of those things. That's yes, and so why I felt more comfortable doing it is because we have guests, and so it's like more so an interview where it's them and we could still talk and relate and have those conversations, but it's not just a full table talk every single time with a new topic, because that's when it, like when we had that, we would get into like our arguments, and I've argued with Rocky before.
In some of your episodes during the episode?
Actually, one time when we actually had Bernadette come on as a guest,
Oh, okay.
Rocky, she was telling a serious story and they weren't letting her talk. They kept jokes, and I had to be like, dude, she's telling a story, and he got mad at me for telling him. He's don't yell at me on air. Like, yeah, we got into an argument. It was bad, but it was because it was like, well, let her talk. Let her tell the story.
We had a similar incident earlier this year where somebody was having a conversation about, I think his son or dad, somebody died of suicide or something like that from drug overdose. And then they were me and G Money went into it because he made a joke or something.
All they do is like they kind of refer back, to jokes in a way.
Yeah.
But when people uncomfortable with being serious, they tell jokes. And so he said something and I got offended and I was like, that's not funny.
Right.
And he was like, well, that's what I thought. I'm like, I just don't think it's fun. Then me and him got into we seriously got into like an argument.
That was kind of like what happened with this last recording when I didn't know and they said the joke, which I don't think, like, again, like I love them and I think it's great. So sometimes, if it's an uncomfortable thing, they'll make a joke to like switch it. But sometimes the joke makes it a little bit worse, right? When it's a serious. So, and that kind of happened with me with a situation I didn't know. And I'm like, no, wait, it's not funny because I didn't know. And I feel uncomfortable with that. Because I didn't know, and then it turned into a joke, and then that's someone's like life. I take death serious, like I feel like once you, especially for me too, is like once you have somebody who's passed away, like that's really close to you too. You don't death isn't lightly. I don't care how the person it just I don't take that lightly. So but other than that, we've been pretty good. We never really like gotten into any type of argument or anything.
I think like I'm more excited to watch them now that you're on there. I'm like, Amris is dope. Even like, I didn't even mention that I first met you when I was in 10th grade, 2010.
Yeah, you were a baby.
Go way back, and then I remember even then, but like, see how impressionable. Like, I remember you. Like, I could have like never, but I'm like, I remember Amris. I've just always remembered when you were around and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're still, like I said, just as beautiful. And I'm like, she looks the same, just an age. I'm like, that's.
Well, neither do you. You still look like when she was a baby.
I was a kid. Oh, I guess that's kind of good, huh?
Yeah. You still look like you're 16.
You do. Yeah, I remember.
I'm like, that's good. So then I look like Amris when I was that age or whenever I do.
But even when you were little, you were always like, you were so young. But like when your mom would bring you around places, you would still be like the light. Like I remember being like, dang, you did the splits on the wall. You were doing the splits on the wall, and I would just be like,
Oh yeah.
I would always still be impressed by everything that you were doing though, because you were so young. But you know, and I'd be like, what the heck? Can you still do splits on the wall?
I think so. She's like, hit them right now.
I know. We're like, and go.
I would be like, what in the heck? I've followed you since, but yeah, that's so crazy. I've known you since you were so little.
And here we are still
And
going.
here we are.
Still
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and
Awesome.
thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Let's tag. We're gonna plug in her Instagram, social media. So please follow her, like her post, DM her some good stuff, compliment her.
No pee-pee pics.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Exactly. But don't call her Am. Just kidding. Call her Am.
You could
She
call me
likes
Am.
it. And thank you for tuning in, everyone.
Thank you.
It's every Thursday, my podcast, 7 p.m. I'll see you next Thursday. Like, subscribe, share the video.
Bye.
Adios.